So in Street Fighter 6, I went into the Battle Hub yesterday, and I found that they had Street Fighter 1 playing on the arcade cabinets there. So I went and played it, and I've always heard that it was very hard to do the special moves in the game, and if you're used to playing fighting games from any of the past 20 years, then yeah, it's going to be a learning curve for you. But in order to figure out how to actually do them, I had to remember what the machines looked like when they first came out. See, if you think about it, Street Fighter 1 is more arcade game than fighting game. It's very janky. It's like the Mario Party 1 of Street Fighter and all fighting games in general, kind of. So how did they decide to attract new customers to an arcade game? With a button that you would actually, punch or slam, and depending on how hard you hit it, it would give you a different strength of power for your move, apparently. Of course, this didn't ultimately stick around, and Street Fighter 1 cabinets were fitted with the now standard 6-button layout of light, medium, and heavy for punch and kick. But just because they changed the buttons out doesn't mean that they changed the timing for the buttons. See, in modern fighting games, if you hit the button, when you hit the button, it'll give you your input, like you would expect. You hit the elevator button, and it immediately goes through. But because of how the slamming button worked, it would check how it was released to check how much power it had. So in Street Fighter 1, you actually have to time it with the release of the button for your move to come out. Anyone familiar with Balrog or Boxer from Street Fighter would know that his turnaround punch, you hold down punch buttons, and for a certain amount of time, you let him go, and then he does the move. This way of registering inputs is called negative edge in modern fighting games now. Think of it like you're stabbing someone with a knife, but it only does damage whenever you pull the knife out of them. So, let's go over the 3 special moves that you can perform in Street Fighter 1, since you can only play as Ryu and Ken, which are identical in this game. First off is probably the one you'll be using the most, is Hadouken, the standard fireball. You do quarter circle forward, or down, down forward, and put your punch input in. So in order to perform the move, hold down your punch button, quarter circle forward, and when you hit forward, let go of the punch button and the fireball will come out. I'm not exactly sure what the timing is for when you hit forward and when you release the punch button. I pretty much treat it like the perfect sonic boom in Street Fighter 6, where you only have maybe 2 to 4 frames to input the punch and the motion to actually have it work. Even still, you're not gonna get it every time when you're trying to learn how to do it, especially if you hit up forward and punch, which will give you a jumping punch. Still though, I feel this is probably the most consistent one of the bunch. It's the easier input, and the Hadouken does fairly good damage. All the special moves mostly do good damage if they hit correctly, because these were considered secret techniques back when Street Fighter 1 was released. So of course, it's kinda like a cheat code. The next move we'll look at is the other simple one of the bunch, Tatsumaki Senpukyaku. Typically just called Tatsu or Tatsumaki, this move is done with quarter circle back and kick. So hold your kick button, do down, down back, and release kick at the same time. Successfully performing the move will make Ryu do a helicopter kick in this game. It looks much more graceful than later iterations, but in this game I'm not sure if it's all that useful in standard play. I feel like the majority of the time that I successfully got the move, I maybe hit once and it did 10% damage. Maybe I was just using it wrong, but I don't really think you're gonna have to worry about it all that much when playing Street Fighter 1. The final and most difficult move to perform out of the 3 is Shoryuken. also known as Dragon Punch or DP, is a sort of rising uppercut that strikes your opponent. This one is inputted by doing forward, down, and down forward, and a punch input. So hold your punch button, forward, down, and down forward in the middle of down and forward. Release your punch, and it might come out. It's a little finicky, but there's a good reason for that. I've been told that it does massive amounts of damage, sometimes even one-shotting enemies in the game. I can't really tell you that it's worth trying to learn and how to do it, considering Street Fighter 1 is more of a novelty than anything. Don't let it be your first fighting game. Try like Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition or Hyper Fighting. Somewhere easier to get in and your moves might actually come out. Also, remember that this is originally an arcade game which was made to drain all of your quarters or yen coins, because it was in Japan. So the CPU can and will be really cheap and just outright kill you sometimes. Not really the best time, but if you're with friends or if you're like doing a stream or something, it's kinda okay. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope that this has helped you understand Street Fighter 1's special moves a little bit. They're still weird, but yeah, thank you. Goodbye.